Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. We're so pleased to have you here as a part of our service. Today we're going to touch on an amazing experience of transformation and look at the power within us to bring that about. We have wonderful music from David Brooks, one of our favorites. During this time, I hope you take it as an opportunity to touch that depth, that beautiful presence within yourself, that love and light that is God. Thank you for joining us and have a beautiful day.
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. Please stand as you are able and join us in singing the welcome song.
Yes. We've come to celebrate. We want to make you feel at home. And so we welcome you to Unity of Walnut Creek. Your cares and woes, leave all your troubles all in mind. Just open up your heart and we know you'll have a real good time. There's so much joy and so much love. You'll find whatever else you seek. You cannot help but fall in love with Unity of Walnut Creek. We've come to celebrate. We want to make you feel at home. And so we welcome you to Unity of Walnut Creek. Love and so much joy. You find whatever else you seek. You cannot help but fall in love with Unity of Walnut Creek. We've come to celebrate. We want to make you feel at home. And so we welcome you to Unity of Walnut Creek. The Unity of Walnut Creek. The Unity of Walnut Creek.
Please remain standing and join us in singing Oya Heya.
God is singing, I will listen all day long. I will listen all day long. Oh, yeah, hey, oh, yeah, hey, oh, yeah, hey, hallelujah. Oh, yeah, hey, oh, yeah, hey,
Good morning.
Good morning, Javier.
Welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. I'm, as Brooksy said, Javier Cortez, and it is truly my pleasure to welcome you to our service. Let's all take a moment to check our cell phones and be sure they are completely turned off. Thank you. Please join me in waving hello to our friends at home. Your presence adds to our spiritual community. We truly appreciate you. And our song leaders this morning are Nancy and Chip Dunevan. Please also join me in welcoming our guest musician, Fusion, featuring David Brooks. Let's open our service by focusing our attention through our opening affirmation. Please join me in prayerfully and powerfully speaking it together 3 times. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Again, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Once again, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Let's continue by reading aloud the statement of our unity. God's love is within each of us, guiding us to dynamically express into wholeness, wisdom, and abundance. We acknowledge the universal wisdom in Christ's teachings and in all spiritual paths. I now choose to open to the presence of divine love and to be changed at depth. Throughout this sacred time, God is uplifting me and through my heart, the world. Our heart minister, Miss Ricky Ingersoll, will read from Unity's Daily Word.
The word for the day is grace. Some challenges in life seem insurmountable. I may be tempted to either give in or give up on them. However, when I look to God as a source of my ever-present good, I open myself and the circumstances of my life to divine grace. I can overcome anything when I remember that with God I never have to face my challenges alone. As this realization permeates my being, I leave behind the shadow of doubt and enter into the sureness of God's grace. Any challenge looming over me shrinks to a manageable size. I no longer fear the future. I am enthusiastic about God's good, which is always present. I know good will continue to manifest, and I am willing to accept whenever and however it appears. The scripture is from Luke 1:30. The angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God." The affirmation for today is, with a grateful heart, I accept the goodness of God. Would you repeat this affirmation with me 2 more times? With a grateful heart, I accept the goodness of God. With a grateful heart, I accept the goodness of God.
Please join us in singing We Let It Be.
I'm going to highlight a few upcoming events. The details of these and other wonderful activities are in your bulletin and on our website. Unity Connects people, the ones with the funny hats, will be on the patio to help you log on to our database and communication program. They'll even take your picture and upload it onto your profile. See you out on the patio. If you have volunteered in the past year, and almost all of you have, you are invited to the Unity Volunteer Picnic next Sunday. Great food and lots of fun. Join Reverend David for the membership classes if you are interested in joining our Unity community as a member, or if you're just interested in learning more about Unity. Dates and times are in the bulletin. Come to the Unity Rocks Around the Clock fundraiser on October 20th for out-of-site food, primo play dates, keno, raffle prizes, and of course, fab music. Get your tickets, volunteer to help, or offer up play dates out on the patio. It's going to be a gas. And Reverend David.
Good morning. Good morning. Classes are about to start again. So let me just give you a sampling. Okay, Monday is a very special class that is coming from Kathleen Sims' work that she's been doing with us, preparing to utilize the 2012 energies that we are in for a real creative birth of a new consciousness. Wonderful opportunity to come and work with her and some of the great spiritual teachers that are behind the material she's working with. And then Tuesday's Heart Day. There's a book study in the afternoon with Hidden Power of the Heart, and in the evening we're moving into the experience of the Sacred Heart. So a tremendous opportunity to touch something that's been important to us at a much deeper, very profound level. And of course, if you've got spiritual gifts and you're ready for that next step, Hope Right There will help you bring that alive. So wonderful things on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, we aren't having any class because we have so much going on every Wednesday. So the next classes then are on Thursdays, and the opportunity to explore, those of you who haven't had a chance to really get into the exploration of the chakra system, Sonia Marie is going to be opening that, or if you really want to take a new, fresh look at that experience. And then also on Thursdays is our, what we call Next Generation Unity, or our 18 to 35-year-olds get together and really support themselves on their spiritual journey. And Friday, of course, so much loved here at Unity of Walnut Creek, Course in Miracles with Garrett Reed, who always brings that deep, rich insight. So it's okay to try to take them all.
If you are here with us for the first time, we welcome you to our spiritual community. We would love to meet you, and we invite you to experience our community as our guest at a Unity event of your choosing. Please take the very important presence card from the seat pocket in front of you to the welcome table on the patio and learn more about us and receive your free gift certificate. If you are willing, please raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. If you're new. We would like to extend our special blessing to you and everyone new to our services, both here and online. Together, we love you, we bless you, and we behold the light of God shining through you. Thank you for joining us. And now let's take a moment to greet each other until the music begins.
itty bitty babies. In her hand she's got the itty bitty babies. In her hand she's got the itty bitty babies. In her hand she's got the whole world in her hand. The whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole 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 wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Okay, take that deep breath through your heart, and as you release it, just let go, settle back, wiggle in, get comfortable. Again, breathe in that awareness of this love that surrounds you. And as we enter into our prayer experience today, I invite you to let this be a time to truly open, to let that amazing goodness that wants to fill your life flow in without limit. Now, as we turn within, as you join in the music, let it be part of that journey to the very center of your heart.
Flowing from my heart, filling me up and making me strong as nothing else can do. Love, 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 flowing from my heart, filling my mind, my body and soul, as nothing else can do. Love, 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 flowing from my heart, sending it forth and blessing the world as nothing else can do. Sending it forth and blessing the world as nothing else can do.
And that love does flow through us with ease, with grace, with such beauty. And it is that love, this divine presence that we call Mother, Father, God, that we see as infinite love, that right now within us opens our hearts to receive. That love sweeps away any fear, any concern that has kept from us the true blessings of that divine presence. Are we open to that goodness, whether that is for us to be in our bodies as our radiant health, whether it is abundance within our material world, joy and connection of meaningful, joyous relationships, the experience of friendship and purpose, and that beautiful inner peace. Beloved presence, we are open to that goodness. in that opening, we remember those words spoken by the Master as he encouraged us to realize this goodness that God would fill our lives with. He said to us, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. He who seeks finds. And to him who knocks, the door will be open. Which of you, if his son would ask for bread, would give him a stone, or ask for fish, would give him a snake? If you then know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? And so we ask that this love dissolve and release any barriers that we might be about living our lives from that fullness, one with that divine purpose, one with its goodness in every form. And so we touch that deep peace that comes from knowing this presence. And we enter into that place of sacred silence. Be still. Be still. Be still and know that I am God. Be still. Beloved presence, acknowledging that you are this beautiful experience of love that we find upon our hearts. We make that choice to send this forth to heal and bless and uplift. And we begin by sending it into our own bodies for healing and well-being, to our minds and hearts for wisdom and understanding, radiating it to each one dear to us, to lift, bless, heal. We radiate this love from our hearts. We send it across this spiritual community, becoming a part of that light and wisdom that flows through each one, blessing everyone in their world. We send it to every prayer request brought here, knowing that that love enfolds each one and they are lifted into that which is the highest. And we radiate this love, sending it across the communities in which we live, across our nation, healing its fears and bringing forth its great wisdom and compassion. And we send this love to to all who join us in prayer this day, whether in mosque or synagogue, temple or church, whether gathered at home or on the hillsides. For in seeking to know you, we are all one. And we radiate this love, sending it to Mother Earth, to all of her creatures, and sending it to the heart of every single person in the earth. For you are that love in every heart, and in that love, we are one. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Please join me. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And once again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the It is so. Amen.
Oh, my people, you are more precious than diamonds and gold. In you the spirit of truth I behold, sent by the one source, the one love of us all. Oh, my people, we have heard the joyous call, and we can stand up straight and tall and run to the one source, the one love of us all. Oh, my people, we are brave and we are strong, and in our heart we sing a song of the one source, the one who loves us all.
When you're not feeling your best, remember, take a breath, relax, rest, go within, be still, and know that we are always in control. We are always in the flow.
With the one source, the one who loves us all.
people.
Oh, my people.
The world will always keep on turning. So keep your love light always burning with the one source, the one who loves us all. And listen for that one voice, the one who loves us all. Thank you. Yeah, you touched us, David. You touched us. Oh, and it actually takes me back to that beautiful experience. I know many of you joined us during the World Day of Prayer this week, and that connection. Now, the only problem with that connection is sometimes after it, I get a little over courageous. So I want to check with you all. You feeling pretty courageous today? Yes. Ready to do a little spiritual stretching? Yes. Okay, you sure now? Okay. Well, I want to touch one of those wonderful things that's a part of unity. And that's that we can touch the great religious traditions in the world and the different spiritual modalities that exist, and honor and find within them meaning that enhances that which we're experiencing. So I want to take us to touch a spiritual tradition that we have not touched before. Step into something a little new, a fascinating, very beautiful understanding and experience. To really look at it, maybe it helps to just start by looking at what we do when we pray. Okay, now, a moment ago we were here in prayer together. Okay, and think of the perception that was there with you in that moment. Now, I know for me it kind of varies, but generally I'm thinking, okay, I'm here, and I'm connecting with this beautiful divine presence that is not only within me, but everywhere. And I'm holding in my heart and in my mind someone that I care about. I'm wanting to send them that blessing. Whether I see that as coming from my heart to theirs, or just that desire through which there is a response within the universe of this energy and wholeness that touches and changes and brings that experience to them. Now, in some way, I know we all perceive it a little different, but I think that's maybe fair for most of us, wouldn't you say that's somewhat what's going on there? In this tradition, what's going on out there doesn't matter. Because it basically teaches that if it's out there, it is simply an expression of something within you. So get rid of it. Now that's kind of interesting philosophically. And it's not a new perception. Okay, actually it shows up in a number of different religions. It shows up in a number of different teachings, this understanding that somehow with what's going on out in our world, in what we see in others, that there is some relationship to something in us. And so we have a power to make a change within and affect that. Now, what became interesting to me was some time ago, a practice of this was shared that began to challenge our understanding of what was going on and began to give an insight into the amazing power that we have to transform the outer that way. The practice that I'm want to focus on is something out of the Hawaiian tradition that's called Ho'oponopono. Many of you are aware of it. There's a wonderful book out, Zero Limits, and I warned the bookstore I was going to talk about it, so they got some. And again, the idea isn't that new. And the truth is, the practice is. Now, this that we're going to talk about today is really a contemporary practice that has built out of an ancient practice. And the ancient practice was group-oriented. This is completely individual. But the ability to use it was given an amazing focus by one of its practitioners. Now, the experience I want to share with you took place in the Hawaiian State Mental Hospital. Okay. And it was a particular unit, the unit that dealt with the criminally insane. Now, a few of you, like me, may have had a chance to interact with that part of our criminal justice system. If so, I'm glad that we're all here now. It's very difficult. The people that are there because of violent crime. Very destructive, heinous actions towards other people. And taking care of them and dealing with their mental needs is a huge challenge. Now, in Hawaii, in this unit, a man was brought in as a psychologist, one of the psychologists there. But a very interesting thing took place. First of all, he didn't do anything. I mean, he was hired to come in and, be the, do the counseling and all this sort of stuff with these people. He didn't do that. He didn't work with their cases. He didn't go up and interact with them and, help them figure out their stuff at all. He was a person who practiced Ho'oponopono, and the teaching there was that it was all within. So he went and just worked within himself. So let me share with you a little bit of the experience that was there. Now, the first part I want to share is from the woman is a social worker who was there on the staff at the time that the man came in. The man's name is Dr. Hugh Lin. And she was describing the actual state that was being experienced. And this is just a minor part of that, but it gives you a little picture of what was going on and what was being dealt with. She said all the patients were locked in the unit 24/7, allowed to leave, escorted only in wrist and ankle restraints, for just a medical or court appointments. Most of their day was spent in a seclusion room, locked with concrete walls and ceilings, locked bathrooms, no windows. Many were medicated. Violent incidents were expected occurrences. She said there were several incidents every day of violence that would be patients attacking staff, patients attacking other patients, patients attacking themselves, and attempting escape. So again, you have these very serious states of mental illness and violence. She says it was an intense, volatile, depressing, wild place to be. So Dr. Hulin shows up as psychologist on the staff and doesn't do anything. She says, several months after the arrival of Dr. Hulin, things began to shift. Seclusion rooms began clearing. Patients began becoming responsible for their own needs and business. They also began participating in planning and implementing programs and projects by themselves. The unit became alive, calmer, lighter, safer, cleaner, more active, fun, and productive. Incidents of violence became rare. Now, he didn't do anything out there. What he did was work in here. He was there approximately 3 years. When he left, all of the patients had been released except 2 patients who were transferred elsewhere. Otherwise, the entire ward, this is somewhere around 30 people, were healed. Wow. He didn't do anything out there. His words. I had to take complete responsibility within myself for actualizing the problems outside of myself. He said, I had to clean my own toxic thoughts and replace them with love. Clean my own toxic thoughts and replace them with love. He goes on. There was nothing wrong with the patients. The errors were in me. Interesting understanding. Amazing results. Replace my own toxic thoughts. Replace them with love. Now, this isn't the only place where this understanding of the world we live in shows up. What actually took me back to this, and again, this the experience and the books on Ho'oponopono have been out about for a while. Very interesting. Folks have been reading and working with that. But what took me back to it was I was looking at a different thing. A different experience. Near the beginning of the effort in India to free itself from the rule of England, Mahatma Gandhi and the leaders of that time had called for a nonviolent resistance to that control. As they began, a number of incidents of violence began occurring. And Gandhi said, we have to call this off. And the people around him said, it is not possible to call this off. This is a wave, a passion of energy sweeping this country. What he did was he went into a fast to remove from himself that within himself which was contributing to the violence. Now that's different. That's a little different than what Dr. Hulin's talking about. He's talking about contributing to, not being the only. But in that purification of the self. And when we're talking about, Gandhi talks a lot about the experience of fast and what he does. And the non-taking of food is a minor part of it, in fact. It is a complete focus and dependence on the presence and love of God. It is a deep, rich, powerful prayer experience. As he did that, seeking to remove that within him, the violence stopped. Now, he did it several times. He also did it in the experience where there were the untouchables. And to change that consciousness, he did, asked the world within the Hindu world with which those ideas were associated. And he asked them to let go and make serious changes in this deep cultural structure of discrimination. And in order to bring it about, he went into this fast, this experience of prayer, to remove from himself that discrimination. And major changes happened. He did the same thing during the violence that took place between the Muslim and Hindu peoples at the experience of independence. And the violence stopped. Well, do they have it right? It's all here. Well, I don't know. One of the things that I have found helpful when I experience another set of spiritual perceptions or ideas within a cultural or a spiritual practice that may challenge some of the ways or be different than the ways that I have often seen things, is to first of all honor that understanding. Okay, whether or not I'm able to understand it or not, and sometimes I am amazed at the extent of my ignorance. Whether or not I am able to understand it, what I can do is honor it and hold it in my heart. Hold it in neutral. Don't need to agree with it. Don't need to disagree with it. But in that, what will happen is Spirit works within me to bring to me that within it which is of value in its own time and way. Is it right or wrong? Doesn't matter. It's not important. The only thing that's important is there something there that has meaning to you? And if there is, that beautiful wisdom within you can bring that forth. So let's set aside the philosophical structure under which it's taking place. And so I want to touch on something here. One of the challenges of looking at some of the things within this concept is that it gives an opportunity for some of us to refine the art of guilt that we have developed. Okay. And some of us are better at that than others. Okay, some of us have had deep training in it and worked at developing it through most of our lives. So, it's important when we look at this and it says, wow, this is within you. And we go, wow, what's that mean? Okay, so that part of you that likes to do guilt, tell him or her to just take the day off. Today it's got a free day. It doesn't need to do anything, okay? And we're just going to take this idea and put it in the heart. Just hold it there and let it unfold. But there is something in here that is very clear. When we look at what he did over and over again, the response to what is perceived is in his words, I love you. I love you. I love you. The response. Now, he's not focusing that out. He's focusing that in to that part of the self that he perceives as being activated there. And he explains that that could be a pattern. It's a pattern, some sort of memory within the subconscious. It can be personal, or it can just be part of the collective unconsciousness that, we've picked up. But the response is, I love you. Now there are other steps that he goes through, and next week I'm going to go through some of those steps because I think there's some really beautiful meaning and skill within that. But the heart of the experience is, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Join me. I love you. I love you. I love you. Again. I love you. I love you. I love you. So let's go back to, remember that point in our prayers where we were sending that love to someone in our world that we cared about, someone dear to us. Whoever it is in your world that right now you want to help free from that which they struggle with. To them, join me. I love you. I love you. I love you. Now to whatever within the self, if freed, would free them together. I love you. I love you. I love you. To that divine presence that we share in some way that we are one. To that divine presence together. I love you. I love you. I love you. What an amazing way to learn our oneness. That you have the power through your love to transform the world around you. This shows in no uncertain terms that it does. Whatever it is, you have that power. It is your love. And I share it with you simply because I love you.
Thank you, Reverend David. Oh my gosh. It's just so simple. If you would like prayer support for challenges or celebrations, please ask our heart ministers. They will be available after the service here in the sanctuary or on the patio. Our heart ministers are wearing the lavender stoles. You are also invited to place a prayer request in our prayer box by the front door, the book center, or by selecting the prayer request link on our website. We will be praying with you throughout the week. It is now time for our prosperity celebration. For Love in Action or credit card donations, there are envelopes provided in the back of each chair. I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and be aware that God is the source of all your good. Repeat our affirmation with me together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am truly grateful.
Swing down, sweet chariot, stop and let me ride. Swing down, sweet chariot, stop and let me ride. Rock me, Lord, Lord, rock me, Lord, calm and easy. I've got a home on the other side. David slew Goliath with a little bitty stone. Standing in that field, looking all alone. The lesson to be learned, I swear that it's true. If we get in tune with God, there ain't nothing we can't do.